We're in a position to make our lives better or not do anything. But the time is not going to wait on you to figure out how you're going to move forward. Today, we're going to talk about going forward now. After the intro, let's get it.
You have one life. You got a calling and a purpose. Welcome to the Witness to Power podcast, the show that encourages and inspires you to be who God has called you to be. I'm your host and digital evangelist, Ashley Sims.
What's holding you up? Let's think about the things that we have in our mind, we have in our heart, that we said we were going to do. And something is making us complacent, or we're feeling stuck for some odd reason. And we got to get a hold or get a grip on the things that's keeping us from stepping out and going forward on the things that we need to do right now. I was thinking about, because I started back the process of doing something that I said I would have been doing for quite some time. And that is the book that I have been writing for a moment. And if you've been listening to this podcast long enough, you know that I've spoken about it. When you are doing things that causes you to have great challenge, or you feeling like it's a difficult thing to accomplish, you have to do it, especially if it's pressing on your heart from the Spirit of the Lord, because it's going to affect a lot of people that you don't see right now. But if we continue to become complacent or stuck, we're not going to do it. It's not going to get done. It's going to get put off and put off and put off. And before long, you're going to look out and say, man, I had the same idea. I should have. I constantly talk about this more and more now as we look around us and see the days coming ahead about slacking off on the things that you know you should be doing right now. You know that God has got you fired up to do something, but you keep looking around at something and making it an excuse when it really is not. Again, what's holding you up? A lot of things can get us stuck in our minds. They call it a paralysis by analysis, because sometimes we'll just look at and try to manufacture something that is keeping us from doing what we're supposed to do right now. Or we're cutting out early, or in our minds, we're saying we're working on it. You have to understand where you are in your life and to see the future and to see the vision that he's put in your heart, not what you feel you need to do. And let me clarify that. There is something major that you know God is unctioning you to do, something that he's put in your way to open up another door. But the way is tough, hard, and it's pulling a lot from you. And there's a lot of energy you have to put in this. The road sometimes gets tough, but it is those things that help bring you out stronger on the other side. We always talk about resistance training, weightlifting, and things of that nature to help you become stronger. Lifting the same weight after you become stronger to do it is not going to affect you as adding more weight when you're trying to reach something, a goal, bench press, what have you. When we're going through life's changes, when we're going through the challenges that we meet, or it's just a task that we have to do that we keep putting off because we don't want to do it. But there are times in life when we're called to step up and step out. We got to get going for it now. Time is short, whether we want to believe it or not. Let's just think about this. I was speaking to somebody the other day and talking about goals and dreams, which we have to. We have to have a purpose. We have to have something that we're working forward to, or we have no hope at all. Once we step in the realm of salvation, we accept Jesus Christ, we now have a mission that we have to do. And in that mission, we're going to be talking to people about Jesus Christ, salvation, and our own testimonies in our life. We're going to have things come across our desk, so to speak, that we have to do. That to get to the other side, to the next level, that we got to go through this thing. We got to trailblaze. We got to go up this mountain. We got to do things so that we can speak on it. When Moses was at the burning bush and God gave him instructions, he came up with excuses. And God gave him an answer for that. What excuses are we making for ourselves to not go forward now? Are we putting this thing off for tomorrow, which we know no man can actually know that we're going to be there tomorrow? The waking breath that God gives us every day when we wake up and be thankful. So being thankful is not just something you do. It's not just a church cliche. It's not things that we say. It is the God honest truth. Be thankful and bless his name, for the Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting, and his truth endures to all generations. Are you going to enjoy the truth, the goodness, and the mercy of God? Are you going to sit there and look at the excuses that we give ourselves? Or are we going to look at the foolishness around us and make up and say we can't because we don't want to? Not because we can't. It's because we haven't accepted what God has given us to get there. Oh, yeah, we can come up with a lot of reasons why not. How about come up with some reason why should I and why can't I and why I can do this thing? What if you decided to complete this thing? Let's think about that, the goodness that's coming for this thing that God has put in your heart to do. And therefore, the book that I've been writing, I went back into it. I went back and started looking at why he put this in my heart to do. And so I started doing as my wife told me to do. Just work on a little bit day by day. And so now I also put it in my book, my little journal, to make sure I accomplish that God put in my heart to do. Because I was writing a part in this book, and it reminded me of the call that God had on my life years ago. And then I started thinking about, Lord, what am I doing? What am I waiting on? Who is stopping me? What is holding me up? It's me. A lot of things can come easy to me, a lot of things that I do and go for it. But some things, as far as putting these words to paper, and there's a lot that I'm seeing in this, but there's a mission behind this project. It is a mission that God told me years ago, me and my wife, through a pastor. So I am looking at what I am holding up, because this can unlock some people. Because he never gives us anything that's from him that's going to waste. There's a purpose for God giving you a vision to do something or a task to reach somebody else, because you can speak on it with authority. Their doors are going to open when we decide to pick up our cross and follow Christ and start going for it now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not 10 minutes from now. Now. Because why? It's in your heart to do it. Not somebody else. He called you to do it. He called me to do it. Those excuses is not going to fly in the end. And I'm going to refer to this, and I said this before. But it's powerful what Les Brown said when he talked about this individual lady that died before she could complete this thing that she was writing, this play. And he can't complete it because it was given to her. I want you to just look at what you're holding yourself up from and go to God and break that stronghold. The anointing will destroy the yokes of bondage if you go to God. If you believe this is from God, of God, you got to go to God and get yourself motivated in him. Somebody else is not going to do it because he called you to do it. And I had to do it. So next week, when I'm on this podcast, I'm going to be finished with this book. I'm going to give you the title of this book. And then whatever else there is to do with it. Because it's a task that I put off too long. I started this thing on another computer that's basically outdated. And the most recent date that I saw was 2016. But there's a date that precedes that one on the older computer. And at the time of this podcast, it is 2022 in the month of September. So I'm putting myself out there. It's one of those hard tasks that I have to do. Some people come easy. My wife can just click them out like nothing. But it's one of those things that I have to do. So going forward now is for me also. Not just for you listeners. I'm just being honest with you. A lot of things that we have to do, we're holding ourselves up from. There are many reasons. But if God has laid it upon your heart, it behooves you to get on it right now and get it done. Because who knows the date that you're going to leave this earth with your work undone. That's not what we want to do. While we have it in our hand right now, the power to do it right now, the cognitive mindset, the ability to do what we do, get going for it now. I urge you, get some urgency in your heart. So don't look at stuff to stop you from moving ahead or making any progress. Don't let it be your family. Don't let it be your job, this and that. Don't let it be that I'm sleepy or whatever. There's no better time than today. Going for it now. You're either going to have an excuse or the urgency to complete the task. Finish the work. It is finished. We'll talk again. Reach one, reach many. Be blessed. Until the next time, have an awesome week. Hey guys, we got to get this word out. Thank you for listening to today's show. We got to get the word out. We got to share this podcast. Go to Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the show. Leave comments. Share it with a friend. Share it with a neighbor. Share a good, kind word. Share this podcast on all social media. Be blessed.
Have you ever felt that you've not lived up to your full potential? Or maybe you felt that you have no idea what you truly want out of life, but you feel you can do more than what you're doing now? Then I have the book for you, 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose, to help you shake off the stagnation and fogginess into doing your purpose. Go to walkinpurposenow.com. Yes, that's walkinpurposenow.com and grab your copy today and walk in the purpose that you know is designed for you. Remember, I believe in you. So go and grab your copy of 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose and live the purpose that I know you have within you to live.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Witness to Power Podcast. Don't forget to check us out at www.witnessthepowerpodcast.com. And also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And be sure to check out the Witness to Power fan page on Facebook. Have a great week.